All right, guys, this is me again. I'm actually from home today. The dog may start barking, so I apologize. I have a few home builder random topics that I want to discuss. I don't think any of these topics, I don't really think they relate with one another. Um, One is about your knowledge. Number two is going to be your physical characteristics. And number three is going to be what's the difference between remodelers, subcontractors, and new construction subcontractors. And also, guys, y'all, number four is put yourself in a position of being uncomfortable. Um, let's get into it. All right, I'm Emmett Stallworth, the Alpha Builder. I want to, these are just some random topics. As a matter of fact, guys, I have a board that I put all my stuff on, and during the week, this is my content that I just want to do. I want to do YouTube videos on. Probably each one of these topics could probably be a standalone. And I got to get all this stuff off my board, so I'm gonna do it all together. The first topic I'd like to talk about, guys, is going to be, and I say this all the time, as a home builder, just a business owner, guys. As a business owner, you have to invest in your knowledge. You got to invest in your knowledge. You got to, I teach construction courses at Lawson State Community College. And I use that platform because I get a chance to teach, but it's kind of like my side hustle, guys. But one of the main reasons that I'm there, man, is because, guys, I have a lot of builder friends of mine. Sometimes they would call me and they would have issues and problems. I say, hey, man, go take my course. Now, right now I'm using Lawson as the platform, but, these guys, some of these guys just will not spend money on their knowledge. But not just spending money on your knowledge. I mean, how often do you go on the internet and you're researching to make sure that you're savvy in your particular trade? This is where we have to be. And I don't know, I don't know what else to say as far as investing in your knowledge. I mean, sometimes you're not going to get everything on YouTube. You're just not going to get it. Guys, if you're trying to build a house based on my YouTube channel, I got about 230, maybe 230 videos about probably every facet of constructing a house. But you're not going to learn how to build a house from that. Matter of fact, I only have about 10% to 15% of what you need in order to go ahead and build your whole house. There's about 85 to 90% of information that I have up here and that I teach even at my course at the community college, that this is what you're gonna need in order to bridge the gap between all the information that I have on YouTube. I'm not gonna give it all to you. I even had a guy, friend of mine, he went out and he wanted me to help him. This guy, I've been knowing him for a while, but he wanted me to help him do a flip. He did a flip home, and as far as the process and all those things, I kind of helped him. I helped him with it. We went through the whole process. We got it done. After we get it done, he called me. He wanted to get another one going, and he was asking a whole bunch of questions. Man, who do I need to see? I got this project right here going on, and I need to do this, that, and the other. Now, who do I need to do? I need to do this right here. How do I need to do this right here? What person I need to talk to? And I told him, I said, man, I just can't give you that. This is how I eat. My knowledge in what I do, and my knowledge in what I know about building construction is what set me aside from the other builders. I can't just take 20 plus years of what I've been getting to create a trade secret for the most part and just hand it to you. And we think that, now there are certain builders, we all help each other out. I do have friend builders of mine I call and they'll give me this, that, and the other, but I also give them is an equal share. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're not in this industry, or you trying to get into this industry, you're trying to learn it, invest in your knowledge. You're gonna have to pay, man. Like I said, I can't give it to you. I can't give you 20 plus years of what my trade secrets so that you can become my competitor. It doesn't work like that, guys. And even when you get to become a great builder, there's always additional information. There's always things that you can learn in the industry, especially in the business side. Guys, I built the same house, the exact same house, right next to each other. I reversed them and maybe changed some of the front elevation items, so they won't look alike. And I ran into totally separate issues on each one of those houses. And my ability to be able to troubleshoot through what needs to be done while building those houses, that's the key. And so guys, there you have it, man. We just can't give you these things. And guys, you gotta invest in your knowledge. You gotta become good at what you do. You gotta, if you're not eating, sleeping, and living construction, this market is gonna eat you up, man, because there are people out here who are. Okay. Number two, it's gonna be kind of a weird. I was out running this morning. I gotta get this, man. I done got up to I'm knocking on 200 door. I usually kind of keep myself between 185 and 195. Now I'm almost about to hit 200, man. Just when you get a little older, you get in your 50s, that weight just don't drop off. You can't really move it like you want to. So, guys, I done got on a regimen, man, an eating regimen and a running regimen. I got to get this stuff off. I got to get back down I need to be down to about 184, 185, or something like that. I can just feel myself getting heavier. But guys, you need, and this is not just from being a builder, guys. You need to get your presence, guys. Number one, you need to, let me say this right here. Chances are, if you're a home builder, you're not going to start reaching your maximum capacity as a builder until you probably get in your 40s, 35, 40s, 50. You're not going to hit your plateau till a little later. So, guys, you want to have a great quality of life when you get there. So you need to make sure you're in shape. Just get your body in shape, guys. Not only that, even when you're going out here on site, you need to, and I'm not saying you're going to go out here and look like you're going to beat somebody up on your site or like you can, but you need to look like you can handle yourself. You really do. You need to look like that you can, you're not going to be an easy target from somebody. But your physical, I really do believe that your physical presence is a representation of your mind. Your mind, your body is an extension of your mind. The discipline that you have and those things, that has a lot to do with how physical you are. I'm not saying that you can't be out of shape and be a great home builder and make a lot of money in this game. You can. A lot of the guys, they are, especially the guys who are more engaged into the business side versus the production side. But especially if you're in the production element. So you out there meeting the subcontractors, you engaging with them and all those things. Now, if you're in the office, it's a different ball game. But if you're actually engaging with subcontractors and on a daily basis, and I'm not saying you're going out there to jump on somebody, but you need to look like you take care of yourself. People respect people who don't, well, guys, I'm not saying that people don't respect people who don't look like they're in shape, but there's a distinct difference in how people who have their physical shape together and people who don't, and how they are looked upon by subcontractors. So get yourself right, man. You guys need to get in the gym, or run, or do something. But you can't have your belly flopping all over your belt and stuff like that. Guys, you got to work on that. And don't just do it to be a builder. You do it because once you start making the good money and you really able to start spending and doing some of the stuff that you want to do, and you're a little older, you at least got your body in a position to where you have a better quality of life moving forward. I always like to imagine myself riding in my car, because that's when I do a lot of thinking, when I'm just driving around from place to place. I always imagine myself, I'm driving and myself is sitting next to me. Myself at 80 years old is sitting right next to me. So I got my younger self and then I got my older self sitting over there. So my job, man, is to make sure that this guy that's sitting next to me, which is me at 80 years old, has a great quality of life. And he's so that means I have to be the best version of myself that I possibly can to make sure that this guy, which is me, has a great quality of life. This is, and most of that's going to be working out, sharpening your mind. You're going out, you still gathering knowledge, reading, finding out different information, different techniques, things like that. You're growing your mind, you're growing your body, you're putting all that stuff together. So that's where you want to be as a contractor, or especially a home builder, guys, and especially if you're engaging with these guys, these subcontractors on a daily basis. Okay, that was number 2. All right, number 3. And this right here came about, guys, because we're doing a house. Me and one of my guys, thanks to Clay, man, because I tell you what, man, we could never run out of content. I could probably have done a whole one video on this right here, but Clay is used to, he's kind of used to remodels, going in doing remodels. I'm used to new construction, building, starting with the footings and going all the way up. But now at a certain point, we're doing this one house, and it's really, to be honest with you, it's new construction. The only thing we didn't do is the foundation for the most part, and probably 3/4 of the framing. But for the most part, new construction. Everything else, walls, all that stuff is new. Your subcontractors that you deal with in new construction is, you can't treat those, when you're doing new construction, you can't pull, well, you can, but you got to make sure you do it right. It's hard to get remodel subcontractors to come do a new construction job, because the whole approach to that job is different. Okay. He asked me, it was like a tile job. He said, well, is this right here, is $1,500 a good price on the tile? When you're doing new construction, which is what we were doing, there should be no guesswork about what's a good price, because especially on new construction and even on remodels to the degree, you should already know what your budget is for that tile. So there's no, if a subcontractor come to you and say, well, I'll do this right here for you for this amount of money, $1,500, whatever. You don't do that. You can't do that, guys. You can't. You can't operate with your subcontractors like that. They will eat you alive. They will eat you alive, and at the end of that job, you won't have any money. What you have to do, especially on new construction, you can do it on remodels too. Get a square footage cost from them for the labor. How much do you charge per square foot on the wall, laying tile? That's prep and laying the tile. And that's all you need to know. You don't need to have a big maximum price. If the guys are coming over to do flooring, how much, okay, this is what needs to be done. We're going to lay LVP on this floor. Your questions to those, they don't even have to come to the job site. Your question for those guys is, what do you charge per square foot on LVP flooring installed? You can calculate what they're going to get paid. But if you have those guys that come over and just look at it and say, it's going to be about this right here, they're going to eat you alive. They're going to always upcharge you much, way over. And you can't stay in the game like that, guys. So the approach in new construction and remodel it's gonna be different. I don't all I do is get square footage costs. I used to do concrete. I used to do concrete by the yards. Guy used to charge me by the yards. And I had to buy the concrete. But what those guys would do is they would form my flat work so that they will maximize the highest amount of concrete those trucks are gonna drop, are gonna pour. But if you do it by the square foot, it is what it is. They can't, now they just getting, it's not to their advantage that they're not gonna be sitting around trying to figure out a way to form that stuff so that you can pour a whole lot of concrete. They just gonna get that thing done, get it done, and get on out of there, because their cost is gonna be what their cost is gonna be by square foot. So when you're dealing with, I would almost just say when you're dealing with any contractor, any subcontractor, make them give you square footage costs. Guys, you shouldn't have to be calling subs over to look at stuff. Unless it's just a extreme situation. Unless it's just something that you don't have no clue of what's going on. And which is another problem, because you should know what's going on. Now if there's an extreme situation and something that's way out of, just way out of whack, and I've had to do some stuff like that, like with engineering and stuff like that. But even, I had to get an engineer plan and had to redo. I get those particular things like that. And then they should be paying their guys by the hour, and you need to figure that out for them. What are you paying those guys? How many? It's gonna take us about this many days or this many hours to do this many man hours, and you're gonna need about 2 men, and we're gonna pay them about this much a piece per hour. That's what you should be figuring out for them. You can help your subcontractor with that. But I would even say on remodels, force them to give you a square footage cost for labor. Because if you don't, they're gonna eat you alive, and it's not gonna stop. And you're gonna at the end of that job, you're gonna blow every last one of your budgets. So keep that in mind, man. It's a totally different approach, guys. You can't approach a new construction like you approach remodels. Okay. One more last thing that I want to talk about is I have to always try to put myself in a position to where I'm uncomfortable. It's like a rubber band. When you stretch it and you let it go, you release the tension on it. It doesn't always shrink all the way back down to its normal position. It's a little bit bigger under normal working capacity. It's kind of like your heart rate, guys. If you go out here and run and you consistently run all the time, your heart is going to race up real fast while you're running, but at resting, it's going to be really, really slow. And so it's preparing yourself for running more eventually, guys. So your mind actually is the same way. It works the same way. The exact same way, guys. You have to always try to put yourself in a position that you're uncomfortable in business. You don't want to just do the same old stuff all the time. Okay, I'm gonna build this quality of house all the time. Try to expand yourself. My goal, I got a goal that I got to put myself into, and that's to build a house and never ever step foot into the end, and actually produce a profit. That's my goal. There's a lot of builders who do that, who have done that. Especially these production guys, a lot of these guys, like D.R. Horton. I figure he hadn't been in all his houses, and then that way you can learn how to reproduce what you're doing. But you gotta always put yourself in a position that you're uncomfortable. When you become comfortable, that's when and complacent. That's not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. You gotta keep clawing, keep going. Keep going. The sky's the limit. Keep going. And guys, that's all I want to talk about, so I can get a chance to erase this stuff off my board and start with a fresh board. Because I just keep thinking of content every day. Every time I do something on the house, I come up with more and more content. But guys, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know if there are topics that you guys want me to discuss. Okay. And once again, guys, I appreciate you guys for joining here today with me. You guys have a good day. Thanks.